Hi, True Crime Grapevine fans. This is the second section to my mega episode, my 46th episode. Baby, I'm back because it has been a long time since I uploaded, so we're getting it all covered. This section is the section where I talk about old cases that we have some updates on. So, number one. This beautiful Harmony Montgomery. I don't know if you remember the story about Harmony. She was, there was an Amber Alert, I believe, looking for her in the year, was it 2022? No. They started looking for her December 2019. So right as the pandemic was starting. And we, in January 2022, it was publicly known that everybody then was looking for her, and her mom had been trying to find her. Her mom lost custody of her due to addiction, which happens in Massachusetts, and her father was in jail at the time, and so Harmony was in the foster care system and actually thriving. She's blind in, I believe, her right eye, but she was a happy little girl, and they had a son then, also born drug addicted, also taken away, but that son was adopted by local weathermen, this couple who adopted him, and they wanted to adopt Harmony too. They were like, she was, in the system. The brother wanted to see his sister. The mom was making some visits and trying to do her best to get her daughter back, but somehow in the court system, the judge who was in charge got the case, and her father had been paroled, although he was still being looked at for a murder and other wonderful violent acts, and had a rap sheet a mile long. But the judge, in his esteemed and almost retired judgment, decided, yeah, Adam Montgomery looks good. So Adam got custody. They didn't do the due diligence. They didn't do his background checks. They didn't do a home visit. No, they're just like, oh, it's the dad. It's one of those weird slip to the crack cases. He takes her immediately and moves to Manchester, New Hampshire, where he has a new wife. And Harmony, at least while people saw her, understood that he was treating her, and some in Massachusetts, one of the comments made by a social worker in one of his very few visits was that he had unrealistic expectations for a child. So in Manchester, the family members, some of them have said, yeah, like he was screaming at her, like, and gave her a black eye, beat her because she couldn't keep the baby quiet. His baby with his new Kayla Montgomery, his new wife. So yeah, what a great dad. And then she was not heard from, and the mom was concerned. She was having visits through Zoom, and all of a sudden, no, she disappeared. Couldn't get a hold of her. And that was in, let's see. She was actually, see, it's kind of hard because they found out that she had actually been missing much longer, like for 2 years, where her mom was trying to get help and couldn't, and nobody listened to her, and finally, it's just a big fat mess. Well, anyways, we heard about it, it was in 2019 where she went missing. The world found about it in 2022, and then there was searches for her, and her father was arrested for other things related to guns, and he was homeless, and he'd broken up with the one girl and had another girl and was doing drugs with her. The stepmom, Kayla, was also homeless, but she wanted to get clean. She was making deals, I guess, maybe, allegedly, with the prosecution and telling them about things. But then I think he intimidated her, and then she took stuff back and didn't want to say stuff. Anyways, eventually, they did go look where the two had lived together in an apartment and found some sort of evidence, because shortly thereafter, last year, they said she's unalived. Well, so what's new about this case? Just in the week of, when was it? Just this April, early April, they had a joint task force between the New Hampshire folks and then the Massachusetts special emergency team who know how to look in rough terrain, went to look around Revere, Massachusetts, which was where Adam's grandparents are, and it was a long route, 107, in a marshy area, salt marshes. They had like long poles, obviously looking to see if they could hit something. They had gotten some sort of information that maybe she was there. Then they looked on the other side of that road. They didn't seem to find anything, but so we are still looking for Harmony Montgomery. If you know anything, please call the Manchester, New Hampshire police, or the Revere, Massachusetts police, or you can contact, and you have to actually fill out a form. You can't like tweet at them, but you can call or write to the FBI and fill out something if you know anything about where Harmony Montgomery's remains might be. But we are still looking for this poor baby. So sweet. She would have been 5 when she was unalived, we figure. Very sad.